Hi, Juliana Elliott. Lovely to meet you today.
So great to be here. Thanks for having us, Heidi.
Of course.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. So we're going to be speaking about your first feature film, Juliana, Aaron's Guide to Kissing Girls, which I'm really excited about. Could you maybe start, Juliana, by telling us a little bit about, I know that this is sort of a love letter to yourself in terms of the story.
Been
Um,
doing your homework.
sort of what that process was like to write the script.
Yeah, it was kind of this surreal experience of like going back and reviewing how I was feeling when I was 13, 14 in grade 8 and having so many huge feelings that I was having at that age of like being in a fight with my friends for the first time or like crushes and like navigating high school, puberty, like all these like things and getting to apply a queer lens to it because when I was that age, I didn't even know like my sexuality was an option. I didn't see it in the media. I went to Catholic school, like it just never came up. And so I sort of took all of these big feelings that I was having at that age and put it into a queer character and like who I wish I could have been if I was like unapologetically like out and myself at
Mhm.
that age. And Elliot plays Aaron beautifully.
Yes, Elliot. What was that like for you, given that you are the age that, all of these things come up, as Juliana said, questions, fights with friends, and also going into high school. I don't know where you are in terms of your schooling.
Yeah, so I'm in my last year of high school, which is kind of
Mhm.
crazy. But at the time of filming, it was the summer before grade 11, I
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I like to say that I didn't really actually have to do much acting because I basically was Aaron at that age. Like I was the same thing, the only out queer kid at my school, dressing super weird and colorful. Yeah, I think. Like to me, I got to sort of like feel for my younger self,
Mhm.
even though like it's not been that long, obviously, but like I kind of got to like fall in love with like how dorky and gay I was, which like as much as times are changing, and I was lucky to be able to be openly queer, there's still an inherent degree of alienation that I experienced when I was like 12 because like again obviously it's not just about the queerness like it's a
Mhm.
terrible time for everybody. Yeah, I don't know, it was kind of cathartic.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because I also related to all the characters for different reasons, right? Whether it was the queer side or the fact that, I'm one of the nerdy ones and, I don't really know how to navigate the popular,
Yeah.
group or being the new kid. I've also been in those shoes. So can you talk a little bit about that balance, Juliana? Because I know it's, you're writing all of these different characters and we want to give them justice or do them
Yeah.
justice, basically.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I totally agree because it was this process of going through the script when I was writing it and really trying to, as you say, like do justice by like all of these characters, or at least like the three main ones. Like,
Mhm.
I think it was, easy for me to, give that agency and, drive and whatever to Aaron because that's the main character. That's sort of like a stand-in for me in a way. Um, but it was really cool to sort of also find parts of myself through Liz and through Sydney,
Mhm.
and develop those characters more and like really like flesh them out. Especially this was a short beforehand, and so like getting to like really like dig into to like their wants and desires and like who they were was like really really interesting for me as a creator. And I worked with like the best actors ever who were so generous with me and helped me like develop these characters as well along the way and like find them. Because I told them like right off the bat, I'm in my late 20s writing this, remembering like what I remember being this age to be. But you're also living it right now. So if anything doesn't feel
Yeah.
authentic or whatever, like tell me and like we'll change it. So that was like a really cool part of the process, was just getting to work with them as well to collaborate to find these characters.
That's great to hear, because I also wanted to ask Elliot if you also appreciate that process, now that I know that it was very collaborative, but
Oh
also,
my gosh. Yeah.
what was that experience of reading the script and also collaborating with Juliana, but also your counterparts, your other actors?
Yeah. Not to sing her praises just because she gave me a job, but Juliana is one of the most like authentic, caring, and thoughtful people I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. And the fact that she brought that to like the work environment every single day, whether it was like rehearsals or actually shooting, or even when we were doing the festival circuit, like there's just so much trust that she like gave us, which is kind of crazy. But I think it definitely worked for everyone's benefit, because like, yeah, like it got to be a very personal thing for me. And yeah, like even I identify as genderqueer, and Juliana was even like, oh, we can talk about like playing with Erin's gender if that would make you more comfortable. And I was like, I'm all right to play a female role, but just in general, just being very thoughtful. So it's like a very collaborative experience where you just want to bring your best every single day, and it's just so much fun.
It looked like fun from the side of me watching the film. I'm curious, Elliot, if there was something about Erin or any of the other characters that you learned that really kind of stayed with you.
Um, yeah, I think like um that's a good question.
Not to stump you, but
No, no. I mean, like, the obvious answer, like, connecting with the character of Erin was like crazy important for me, obviously. But I had the chance to work on one of the props for the movie. So Erin's sketchbook,
Yes.
that you see throughout the film, I did like a few of the pages for that.
A few,
Some of
you
the
did
comics.
most of them.
I helped work on it. But yeah, like those little things of like when it's time to doodle, what's Erin thinking about? And I don't know, just like such an unapologetically weird little person was just like, I don't know. I think I just like I love Erin so much. Like the character, like there's just I feel such a genuine love for that little gay dork. And that was like I think I'm like, wait, I'm that gay dork. And I don't know. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the book, because that is also, that's part of Erin's guide, right? Like that is such a pivotal piece to the story. It's sort of like its own little character. So Juliana, did you always envision that we'll have this sort of fan fiction book and it would sometimes become animated?
No, oh my gosh, that was like one of those like amazing serendipitous things that came to be like in the edit, having like some extra money to do this animation sequence, which was so cool. But yeah, I mean, the comics like play such an important role in the film, and I think when I was first writing the first draft of this script, I didn't realize how important this was going to be, and it just like kept building and building. And I'm not even like a huge comic book nerd. Like I do read like a lot of books and whatnot, but like it was so cool to like get to create like these other like comic book characters of like Scarlet Sparrow and Lunar Girl, and like we also got some extra funding to actually like make a comic book, which was very cool. But yeah, like I love the fanfic as just sort of like a device to talk about Erin and Liz and like what is going on in her brain, because like when you are 13, 14, however old, like you don't have the language to really discuss it. And like Erin's language is like, her art. Like when they get in their big fight, like Erin like draws about it, and like Liz runs about it, and like like they just have like their different outlets. So it was like really cool to use that device to explore Erin's mindset a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I really appreciated it because it just brought a different layer to it, as well. Can you talk a little bit about what your reactions you've received and sort of what that feedback means to each of you. Because I know it's beginning some love already, so I kind of want to hear what that's like.
I mean, it's been amazing. Like Elliot and I were both on the festival circuit, which was so unreal, and like getting to share it with audiences for the very first time and hearing their feedback. I think I can say that our favorite screening was probably the educational screening we did in Mill Valley for their film festival. Elliot, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but that was just...
Oh my God. It was like, talk about heart filling with joy. There was like, it was just, first of all, it was like a bunch of kids. And so it's like, if kids don't like it, they're gonna say so to your face.
Yeah.
So like it felt very genuine, all of the reactions, and they were super duper reactionary too. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's a certain moment when something occurs that might be a bit shocking. And this one kid was just like, "Oh," and just dropped an F-bomb in the like it was so incredible. And then afterwards they were all like coming up to talk to us and stuff. And there was this one school that had brought their GSA there on a field trip. And just like, I don't know, getting to like see those, like, that's really, at the end of the day, what this movie does for those kids is like,
right.
Oh my God.
They were asking for Elliot's autograph. They were starstruck.
No, it's so weird. But like, this one kid came up to me. He's like, "Oh, I recently came out as pansexual and it's been difficult, but like this movie like made me feel good about it." And I was like, trying not to cry because I had to be cool looking, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome to hear that, because I always think of how this becomes sort of a conduit for conversations. And also the perspective is a queer lens. So it's a story that is lived through you, for the rest of us to experience. So thank you for sharing that. I always want to know what your experience is like. So the film is going to be released now. Are you planning to do any other sort of in-person screenings in case, people kind of want to fan girl boy?
In Toronto, we have a full week right now at the Carlton starting this Friday. With like, we might get extended if there's interest in it. And then otherwise we are on video on demand, but we're also exploring other options to do in-person screenings, but like nothing's set in stone yet. So I don't want to overpromise anything. But yeah, those are the ones that are confirmed at this point.
Awesome. We'll be sure to make sure that people show up at the Carlton and show some support. Thank you both for spending time with me today. It was so lovely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your thoughtful questions, Heidi.
Of course. Thank you.